Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. Now in today's video we're going to be looking at this. It's the Meilan M3 Mini GPS bicycle computer. Now why are we looking at a bicycle computer, you might ask yourself? Well, long story short, I am looking to do some brushless conversions and I want to do some speed runs to check whether we're going in the right direction. And I was looking basically for some sort of GPS speedometer that I could record top speeds on. But because on this channel we're tight-fisted, I didn't really want to spend 60-70 quid on getting a dedicated GPS speedometer, so I looked around for an alternative. I came across this on eBay, 27 quid. I had a quick look at some YouTube videos and I think this is going to do what I want it to do. Now before I crack the box open, I have actually taken the unit out to charge it, so I have actually had a quick rifle through the contents. But anyway, in the box we get our little mini GPS Speedo itself, and some packaging. Get a USB to micro USB charging cable, because it charges under that little cover there. Now then, we get a load of rubber O-rings. I have managed to misplace some of them already. They've got to be in a pocket somewhere anyway, but I think there's 3 or 4. We get some instructions, and obviously we get a little mounting bracket if we want to mount it to the handlebars of our push bike, but in this case we don't. Now we'll just quickly go through some of the interesting features. Obviously this is a self-contained unit. It's got a little internal battery and it's got a built-in GPS chip, obviously for picking up GPS signals. It's got obviously it's got a speedometer function, but it also records, importantly for us, top speed. And if you've got an airplane or a drone or something, it will actually tell you the altitude as well, which is interesting. It's obviously fully rechargeable. It's got a little 400 milliamp hour battery in it. I'm not 100% sure how long it lasts yet, but we'll soon to find out. And it gives you a load of other features like average speed, distance travelled, just stuff like that, stuff you'd expect on a bicycle computer. Anyway, as long as it logs a reasonably accurate top speed, I'll be happy. I mean, you can use it, like I say, you can use it in an aeroplane, you can use it on a boat if you waterproofed it, put it in a little waterproof case. I mean, that's the one thing it doesn't come with, is a protective case. So I have got a little battery box here that I'm going to put it in when I strap it to the car. But anyway, I've charged it up. Let's go and try it, see what happens. Right then, we're outside with the Speedo. I'm going to check its operation and we're going to see what the top speed of this HBX 901A is. So I've turned it on, so everything's working. I've put it in a little plastic battery case just to protect it, just in case if it drops off, because you don't get any protective case with this, unfortunately. But let's see how this thing performs. Right then, all you do to check the speed on the little GPS is you cycle the power button. We've got an average speed there of 10.6 miles an hour. Pressed again at a top speed of 25.1 miles an hour. So it seems to be working. Not 100% sure of the accuracy, but it's very difficult to tell. But there you go. Right then, just for the hell of it, I'm going to stick it in the FC610. Now this thing should be a lot slower, so obviously the Speedo should read a correspondingly lower figure. So anyway, let's get it strapped in and we'll find out what the speed is. Right then, we've got a top speed of 16.4 miles an hour for the Flyhal. That's obviously correct because this thing is a lot slower than the brushless HBX. So the Speedo is working. Okay then, back inside, what do we think of the Meilan Mini GPS Speedometer? Well, let's do our traditional good and bad points. Let's start with some bad points first. Because it's sort of a bike computer, there's no real protection with it. So you've really, I would personally, if you buy one, put it in like a little box with a bit of foam or something like that, or put a little cover over it, because I can imagine if this thing flies off your RC at 30 mile an hour, it wouldn't last a terribly long time. So it could do with some sort of protection. Another bad point is because it's a cheaper GPS speedometer, it doesn't quite have the refresh rate of some of the more expensive ones. But to be honest, I didn't really find this an issue. I mean, I think it refreshes every second or so, which is plenty. I mean, by the time you've run the car up and down, it's recorded the max speed. So I personally didn't find that an issue. Right then, let's have some good points. It'll record in miles per hour and kph, which is always a bonus, I think. It did pick up the satellites really quick. I mean, it's literally picks up when you're outside. It picks them up in seconds. It's not very long at all. It seems fairly accurate. I mean, I took it in the car with me to check the speed against the car speedo, which you don't know how accurate the car speedo is, to be honest. But this is generally within 1.5 and 2 miles an hour of the speedometer reading in the car. So I think it's fairly accurate. I mean, it's obviously got a fairly wide set of applications. I mean, I did actually use it successfully in the car. So if your car speedo brakes, or you've got a motorbike that speedo brakes, you could use it on your car or your motorbike. I think it only reads up to 99.9 miles an hour though, so depends if you're a speed freak or not. I mean, it's fairly easy to use as well. I mean, you've got the menu button on the side where you can cycle through things like distance, altitude, time of travel, whatever that is, odometer, total odometer. And the power button, which you long press to turn on and off, that can be used to cycle through the current speed, average speed, max speed. And I will say, if you leave it on max speed, obviously it will display only the max speed all the time. So if you're doing speed runs, you're not interested in how fast the car is going between top speeds. So you can leave it on top speed and it only display the max speed. So when you come back, you can have a quick look at it and instantly tell whether you've made any difference or not. And obviously one of the biggest plus points is, of course, the price. I mean, 27 quid, it's roughly half, 2/3 of the price of the dedicated GPS Speedos. Now, would I recommend the Meilan M3 Mini GPS to anybody? And the answer is yes. I mean, if you want a cheapish GPS speedometer where you can measure the maximum speed of your RC cars or your planes or your drones or your bike or your car or even your push bike, I don't think you get far wrong with this little unit, to be honest. I will leave a link in the description below to where I got it from, so if you want to go and purchase it, you can do. I think they're available everywhere, to be honest. These little things you can buy. I think you can even buy them on AliExpress. Anyway, if you found this video of some use and interest, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you're feeling that way inclined, hit that subscribe button for more similar future content.